Please bet on football games.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Please Bet on Football Games podcast. I am your host, Alex, here with the on-air talent, Joe. Joe, how's it going this week?
We have so much football. We have camp football. We have theoretical season win total football. And we also now have preseason football. And it eases the pain of the Cubs being complete and utter frauds.
There's still like a third of the season left.
They have the second best record in baseball, and they suck.
Regardless, lots of football, and we're only going to get more.
I don't think I've ever had as many bets for week one of the preseason as I have this year. There are so many good angles. And of course, I'm not capitalizing on any of it because I always give my preseason bets away for free on the Patreon as a sample.
Of course.
Yeah, I feel dumb. Although,
I was going to say, you want to talk about that preseason bet we made last week?
Yeah, I'm really glad that I don't keep strict track of the preseason bets, and I'm really glad I don't make anybody pay for them because, was I wrong?
Yeah, quick refresher. The Lions and the Chargers played in the Hall of Fame game last week. We took the Lions, and I think they lost by 30.
Yeah, that was super ugly. Why the fuck, deplatformed, was Dan Campbell using a linebacker as his kick returner to start the game?
I don't know.
That's point shaving. Linebacker returned the first kick, fumbled because he's a linebacker, and for some reason they kept using him for like most of the first half, I think. That's the first touchdown, is a fumble inside your own red zone. The second touchdown is an interception returned to like the 5. Then the Lions drove the field and threw an interception in the end zone, and that was basically the game. Trey Lance looked pretty decent. In fact, he even looked above average, granted against backups, but like he had one really nice deep ball. And then is it Keandre Lambert-Smith? KLS, 5th rounder out of Ole Miss by way of Penn State. He's a big dude. He's like 6'3". He moves pretty decent. He's been a camp standout for the Chargers. They think he's the answer. There is no position more fraudulent in training camp than wide receivers, especially if you're super fast or super big. Like if you just have one attribute that's good, like you will stand out in training camp. I was impressed with Lambert-Smith though. It's either Keandre or Kendre. I don't remember, and I don't care because he was a 5th round pick, and we'll see if he matters. It was hard to grade him in college just because he went to Auburn, not Ole Miss. He didn't have quarterbacking at Auburn. He didn't really have a well-designed offense at Auburn either. It was very gimmicky and it just didn't require much of him. So like it's hard to tell if he's good. And then at Penn State, he was a disappointment, but he was 20. So like maybe he got better. Really tricky eval. I don't really feel strongly about him either way, but he looked pretty decent. We're talking way too much about the Hall of fucking Fame game. We lost. We got fucked by turnovers. The Lions cared less than I thought they would. Dan Campbell sneaky has a very bad preseason record.
Yeah, maybe even into that, maybe Ben Johnson was the one keeping him sane.
Well, he was, but that won't manifest itself until like week 2 or 3.
Fair. All right. Well, with that said, you want to talk about the NFC West?
Well, the reason we save it for last every year is because it's the least interesting, but I mean, to the extent I ever do, let's do it.
Just a refresher, we are going in reverse order of season win total projection. So that means we will start off with the Arizona Cardinals, who have a win total projection of 8.5 wins.
Yeah, I lean slightly under. My projecting has him at about 8 wins, so like not an actionable under, but slightly under. And what that mostly stems from for the umpteenth year in a row is Kyler Murray is super duper mid, and people kind of just don't watch the Cardinals, so they don't remember that he's super duper mid. They just remember like, oh, first overall pick, fun highlights, he's probably pretty good. And the reality is he's not.
Yeah, I mean, he's exciting. Like, he has the ability to make crazy plays from time to time, and he's about as elusive of a runner as there is in the league. But as we've talked about a million times, he can't throw over the middle of the field. And I mean, like, there are other problems too of he runs around too much from time to time. He can throw too many fuck it balls. But like, so much of the offense is limited because he just can't throw to a significant part of the field.
Yeah, I mean, and he also has problems because, like, despite being tiny, he also doesn't have a particularly over-the-top delivery, and he doesn't put much air under the ball. Like, he doesn't put a lot of arc. It's very line-drivey because he's a baseball player. And it shows. Kurt Warner just posted on Twitter a couple days ago, maybe yesterday even, because Browns fans were ridiculing Dylan Gabriel and saying, like, he can't even see over the line. It's becoming a real problem. Why did we draft this guy? Because every Browns fan just wants Shadur Sanders to be the starting quarterback. Maybe because they're deep state plants who really want Arch Manning next year. Do the Browns have a first-round pick next year?
They have 2.
Ooh, you guys are getting Arch Manning.
Because they traded with Jacksonville.
Yep. I hope he's good for your sake. Not your sake, their sake.
Well, apparently the Haslams and the Mannings are kind of close because they're Tennessee families or, have those connections. And Haslam said that the Manning said that they're like, Arch might not come out next year.
Yeah, no, that's been the consensus rumor.
Yeah, and like even Haslam like said it. Like, I know that he's likely to not come out next year, so it's not even that we're just gonna like tank for Arch, but if
you don't get Arch next year, you can still get Aller, who looks like he could be a real guy, or Klubnik, who looks like he could be a real guy, or maybe Mendoza, the kid out of Indiana, pops, or Lenoris Sellers pops. I haven't done any scouting, but as of August 5th, people think there's a lot of quarterbacks. And anyway, Browns fans seem intent upon accidentally sabotaging their way into one of them via Shadur Sanders. But Kurt Warner was basically ridiculing these takes, saying, like, other quarterbacks, how tall are you and how often did you ever see over the offensive line? And the answer, unless you're like 6'6", is never, because remember, your offensive line is all over 6'3" at minimum. And then there's also defensive linemen who are all over 6'1" at minimum. So his point was like, oh, none of these guys can see over the line, but it's one thing not to see over the line at 6'1", and it's a very different thing to not be able to get your hand over the line when throwing at 5'8" like Kyler Murray. And that's the problem. And the only way he can combat that is by bailing out of the pocket or by just taking ridiculously deep drops, which kind of fucks up every other piece of the offense. And it kind of makes it impossible for him to like work from under center properly. It's a whole mess. Really, the only kind of offense that Kyler Murray can run is either the Cliff Kingsbury spread, which he did, and he ran, and he put up almost identical stats to Jaden Daniels because Cliff is the engine, not the other way around. Or he could run the Joe Burrow, I refuse to get under center, shotgun, 12 personnel, or 11 personnel rather, hooks on the outside every play. But anybody can run those, like Jake Browning or Marcus Mariota. So Kyler's not helpful. Also, just a really bad fit. Drew Petzig, former Browns guy, doesn't run a spread offense. He runs a pretty traditional McVay Shanahan style offense, which is a lot of play action, a lot of throwing over the middle, a lot of deep ins. And like, that's specifically what this motherfucker can't do. So it's a terrible fit for a not good player. Welcome to mediocrity, because Marvin Harrison's great. He's awesome. But due to their scheme constraints, both because of their offensive coordinator and what Kyler can do, basically every snap last year, Marvin Harrison just ran a fucking streak because he's a big body X and you need somebody to stretch the field so that you can throw shit short because you can't throw the dig. You can't throw the post. That's not ideal. It's kind of a waste. Michael Wilson is bad. Greg Dortch is fun, awesome after the catch, but you can't make an offense out of throwing flats. Adam Gase learned the hard way. So your receivers are pretty fucking limited, and the one stud you have, you can't use properly because of your quarterback and OC. It's a big fucking problem. Their saving grace as far as weaponry is that Trey McBride has become a legitimately very good tight end. But again, you know where tight ends usually win, like the most? 10 yards and in the middle of the field. And you know where Kyler Murray absolutely cannot fucking get a ball up and down within 10 yards in the middle of the field? Like, just think of the physics. You're 5'8". You got a launch point of 6 feet in the air. You throw a ball. If that ball is going to go up and come down within 10 yards and arc over the line in defensive line, it has to be thrown so soft. And if you throw a ball soft over the middle, you kill a guy, Jermichael Finley. So, hey, prayers up to Jermichael Finley. I don't think Aaron Rodgers gets enough crap for that. But it kind of mitigates Trey Bride's usefulness, and he basically turns into a slot receiver. Like, they just don't use him as a tight end because they kind of can't. So they use him on some slants, and they use him on a lot of fades and posts. That's what you have Marvin Harrison for? So what, nothing works because your quarterback doesn't let you play football. The way to use Kyler Murray is spread everything out, shotgun, fast receivers, have everybody go deep if there's press coverage, throw screens if there's not. Cliff Kingsbury, quite exactly. It's what he did at Oklahoma. It's what he did originally with Cliff. When you lose that, you lose Kyler Murray being useful. And the backup is Jacoby Brissett, so you don't have another fucking option. I look forward to seeing Kyler Murray catch on somewhere like Indianapolis or something next year and ruin yet another coach who thinks this is the answer, a la Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson.
I don't know if Kyler's old enough for Indy, though.
I think you'd be surprised. I think he's like 30.
He can't be that old.
I think he's the same age as Baker. He is 28 for another 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday, Kyler Murray, you Lilliputian shit. Kyler Murray is about the same height as me and definitely heavier because he's jacked as fuck. The man is thick. The man is wider than he is tall in a good way. It's impressive. He's built. He's kind of built like a really good middle infielder. I'm pretty sure he was drafted 5th overall as a shortstop, but it was Oakland, so it's not like he would have been paid. Or it means he'd be a Yankee.
Exactly.
Any comments on the Oh, we forgot running backs again. I love James Conner. I love him as a guy. He had that one picture of him in high school with fucking incredible hair, and he looked I want to look like that. I don't. And he survived cancer, I think twice. So big ups James Conner. And he's also just really effective. He's got incredible contact balance, like some of the best in the league. And despite the fact he's not that explosive, he's got great vision, a lot of Arian Foster vibes, but not as preachy and annoying. Like Michael Carter is a good backup running back, but really this is a one-man show. Trey Benson, fine. But if James Conner doesn't go, and he is older, he's about 30 himself, if he doesn't go, their running game doesn't go. And again, everything comes back to they can't play football because their quarterback can't play football in the NFL. Not that he's not talented. He just can't do it. Same reason I'm not a goalie in the NHL. I'm really quick. I'm really athletic. I really know the game of hockey. I was great in high school. I'm small. You got to be a certain size. We were talking before the podcast. If I was 6'4", this world would be in a bad place.
Maybe you'd just be Wade Chiller, though.
God damn, I would.
You wouldn't have the same drive and anger that fuels you. You know
what, Alex?
You're fuck him, I'm 6'4".
I can refute this so insanely quickly. Have you met my father? Because he is gigantic and very much insane.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
And his brothers are bigger and crazier. So I think it would actually just be worse. I think my family's tree shows that for every inch, your IQ goes down by 10 and your propensity for violence goes up by a quarter. Speaking of large people with a propensity for violence, offensive line, mixed bag, right?
Absolutely.
Paris Johnson is an unmitigated stud. Give it to him. If he can be healthy, he can be great. Hjalti Froholt is finally coming into his own. He was one of my favorite dudes coming out of college just because he was such a good mover, and a good mover always works, especially when he's 6'5", right? Where did he go? Was it West Virginia? It was somewhere dumb.
I thought he went to North Dakota, North Dakota State or whatever.
Arkansas.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Maybe it's just because I assume he's got Viking blood, so he's...
Well, first of all, he does. He's Danish. And I think he's actually from there, but it doesn't matter. Really good mover, 6'5". He figured it out. It took a little bit of Bill Callahan rehab, but he got it. And he's a good center now. Legitimately good. A B to B plus player. The guards are kind of not good. Evan Brown and Isaiah Adams are C to C plus guys. And you know what you really don't want? Again, everything comes back to Kyler Murray. Remember how he's too small? Well, you've got really tall interior linemen. Froholt at 6'5" is gigantic for a center. Evan Brown is 6'3", and Isaiah Adams is 6'4". Those are big fucking interior linemen. And they kind of have to be, because Petzig runs a power running offense. So you need big dudes to move bodies. But then your quarterback can't see over them and can't throw over them. And they're not very good. So you're getting interior pressure with big bodies all around your tiny quarterback. And again, you could just you can Batman Dark Knight Rises or whatever the hell, and just Bane blow up everything in between the hash marks because the Cardinals can't use them. They can't run mesh. They can't do a rail. They can't do shit in the middle of the field. In breaking floods? Nah. Double slants? No. It limits what you can even try. And the problem, and like the thing that sucks, Kyler Murray's really good at the things he can do, but there are just so many items on the menu that he doesn't have the facilities for.
Yeah, he's just limited. The only like two things I had to say about the offense, because for the most part I agree with you, is like theoretically, again, they have good weapons they have one good weapon at every spot. Like they've got a good running back. They've got a good tight end. They've got one stud receiver that like theoretically you have a lot of ways to attack, but they do get limited because Kyler can't use Marvin Harrison Jr. to his full potential. He can't use Trey McBride to his full potential. So even though they have some studs, it doesn't like they're not getting the most out of them. And then on the offensive line, where you're talking about the guards of like if they're not very good and then they get pushed in, it even like increases the effect of Kyler's height because now those big bodies are even closer to him and he has to try and get it over them. Like again, back to the physics. If they're closer to him, he's going to have to throw it higher and softer. Yeah. I mean, like it's like why the Saints, when they were really good with Drew Brees, like again, Drew Brees, a handful of inches taller than Kyler, but they always made sure they had stud interior linemen because one way that you kill a shorter quarterback is you let that pressure into him closer and then he doesn't have any room to throw anything within the hash marks. Absolutely. I mean, look no further. Justin Herbert is 6'6". He's one of the tallest starting quarterbacks in NFL history, and he gets a lot of balls batted at the offensive line because his guards are not very good. And if you get an extra foot or two of penetration on the interior, it changes the angles. Again, back to being a goalie in hockey. You come out further out of the net, closer to the shot, you cut down the angles, it's harder to not stop the puck. Same with batting a football, right? Like there's just so much that's broken with the logic of an offense that has to be centered around Kyler Murray unless you run something very different from tradition to mitigate those problems. And they used to with Cliff, and that's why it was fairly effective. And remember, like the Cardinals under Cliff weren't world beaters on offense. They were like fringe top 10. And if that's the best it can get, move the fuck on. Regardless, I expect this offense to be slightly below mid yet again, if not worse. And the defense, I kind of fucking hate a lot of the defense. Shall we? Let's. All right, defensive line, their front four is probably going to look like some combination of Dalvin Tomlinson, Walter Nolan, Baron Browning, and Josh Sweat. And then they're going to mix BJ Ojulari in, and they're going to mix Calais Campbell in, I guess. Why the fuck would he go back to Arizona? Like, dude, you're 40. Talk to your family. If you don't want to talk to your family, at least go somewhere where you can, like, play meaningful football. Yeah. I mean, maybe he's just trying to get another check, hang out in a place he's familiar with and likes. You think he couldn't get another check from the Houston Texans? No income tax, good team. He's familiar with Arizona. He liked it there. He had a lot of success. So I'm sure he's got a lot of like good memories. And maybe he doesn't really give a shit about trying to win a Super Bowl at this point. Eva fucking Dentley. But wasn't the whole thing last year like he was going to retire unless he thought he could win a Super Bowl? Yeah, and then maybe he was like, wow, that shit's never going to happen. Let me just go get another check and hang out for a year. More power to him. We do a lot of things for money, like move to fucking New York. But regardless, most of your snaps are going to be Sweat, Browning, Tomlinson, and Walter Nolan. By the way, that like it's been 1 year, and Darius Robinson, their first round pick from a year ago, is already like an afterthought. Good fucking job, buddies. They're so bad at drafting front seven defensive players. You had a few too many words in that sentence. I mean, they can't draft shit, but their front seven picks are, to your point, unconscionable. That being said, like they've packed this front seven with investment, right? Like Josh Sweat's a good player. He's a B+ player. Baron Browning is a B player. Zaven Collins was a first round pick. He sucks, but he's a first round pick. Jordan Birch is a third round pick. He might be their second best edge. Darius Robinson is an edge D tackle hybrid, first round pick from, again, 1 year ago. He's already a little too old and not athletic and, oh no, wow, not good? Shit. Dalvin Tomlinson's a good player who's aging and like hanging on to being a B. Same with Calais Campbell. Once incredible, now exists to stuff the run. They drafted Walter Nolan in the first round.
I don't really get the hype with Walter Nolan, but I think he's a starter. And then like tons of role players like a Justin Jones and an LJ Collier. And like these are guys who are legit good backups. And they're so stacked. BJ Ojulari, like he's got potential he hasn't reached yet. Stacked with like intriguing, valuable pieces on the DL. And yet it's a above average pass rush with like above average edges with above average interior, assuming they deploy everybody properly. But God forbid they try to make Darius Robinson work. God forbid they move Mac Wilson back to the edge again for some godforsaken reason. They're fucked. So front seven, which really needs to change to front six, is Akeem Davis-Gaither. Sorry, dude, it's over. You're no longer a good linebacker. Mac Wilson, I loved you once upon a time. There was you have a skill set that works in this league. You can't figure out how to operate in space mentally. Sucks. And now you're not young and fast anymore. What is the ups? Why are you starting? So I don't like the linebackers at all. The defensive line is underwhelming to me. The secondary was about 3 months ago, just like unplayably bad. And then Will Johnson fell to them in the second round for some reason. This guy should have been a top 10, top 15 pick. So they have a really good cornerback one. And Max Melton on the other side is, he's fine. Budda Baker is a really good safety slot hybrid. I don't like their strong safety or their nickel, but not enough to throw a fit. So their secondary went from being like unplayable bad D secondary to all of a sudden decent. But when you have a slightly below average offense, average at the very best, and you've got a defense who hangs their hat on a secondary that's decent, you kind of suck.
Yeah. I mean, the defense is like, I think they have some pass rushing ability and they've got a wealth of guys that they could throw at it to give different looks and everything. I think Gannon has done a decent job with like getting the most out of the talent that they have on the defensive side, but they still just don't have any like really strong areas. Like you said, they have a good CB1, or who we expect to be a good CB1. And then it's kind of like decent to hope. The linebackers are bad. The interior defensive line isn't anything special. So it's like they've got some parts, but it just relies a lot on being able to get after the quarterback and the secondary being able to hold on long enough.
Yeah, Gannon is that classic Brandon Staley, Vic Fangio type where like if his personnel kind of sucks, he's going to bring a defense that outproduces the sum of their parts because it's just soft coverage and like waiting for the other team to make a mistake. And he'll continue to do that this year because they just don't have the pieces to be anything better.
Exactly. So, I think this number is pretty good. Like, I feel like, probably around you, I would guess 8 wins, like just slightly below average team.
Yeah. Like I could see 7. I could see 7 wins, but really what going through the schedule tells me is Arizona is the line of demarcation between average. They are the average. They are the line. They will be in almost every game, but they will not dominate like any game. They're only like, they have 0 sure wins, and their singular pretty sure win is Indianapolis. Almost everything else is a 50-50 shot, or they're a pretty significant underdog to me. So 8.5, a little high, but there's just not enough value in, trying to bet a side with 1.5 game of cushion. Especially because they could get lucky and fucking Dan Campbell might fucking run, or I guess they don't play Detroit. Todd Bowles could run a linebacker out there to return kicks, fumble the first snap, and suddenly Arizona gets 1 extra win they shouldn't, and you're out of your money.
Exactly. It's also injuries that play in for other teams. Who knows? Maybe San Francisco completely implodes this year. I'm not betting a season win total unless I have at least 2 games of cushion, and I really want 3. Yeah, same boat. So I think they're going to be about average. We'll see.
Yeah, they are the line. They are the line of demarcation. Next team.
Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks, who have a win total projection of 8.5.
The Seahawks offseason is going to be highlighted by their trade of Geno Smith with the Raiders. And both of these teams are extremely similar to me in that I don't know what the fuck they think they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We've already been over the Raiders and like the mess that they are. But yesterday the Raiders traded a really good young corner for a defensive tackle I haven't heard of for no reason. 1 for 1. That's bad.
Yes.
the Seahawks' grand plan was to get rid of Geno Smith, an aging, slightly above average quarterback who they knew, so that they could pay tons of fucking money to Sam Darnold, an aging, slightly above average quarterback they don't know, who also might not be above average. Sam Darnold had a predictable breakout year statistically in Minnesota last year, but that doesn't mean he necessarily played great. And actually, for most of the season, he was about a 2.4, like a B plus quarterback. That's the same grade as Geno. But you know when that stopped? When the Vikings experienced a couple injuries on their interior offensive line, and Sam Darnold reverted to seeing ghosts anytime there's any pressure up the middle. I mean, the Lions game and the Rams game to end the Vikings season, I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback handle pressure worse. Just
miserable.
The scent of pressure, and he pissed himself. So now you're bringing him to a team that might have the worst interior offensive line in the league, like by a lot. Now, they added Gray Zabel in the first round this year. Huge help. And Oluwatimi last year proved to be a slightly below average center, like a C to C plus center. Fine. Journeyman level center. Christian Haynes might develop into something passable, but like your interior offensive line is a guy who is a rookie, a guy who might be just serviceable, and a guy who might develop into something but currently is not yet serviceable. When your quarterback is a scaredy cat, that's bad. And you paid that quarterback, what, 50 mil or some shit to replace the guy who you already had that's of the same caliber and a relatively similar age, who was already there doing the same shit? What do you think you're doing? Now, what the obvious answer is, they think Sam Darnold is way better than we do, but they're wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what the Seahawks have been able to hang their hat on is that Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross are a sick fucking tackle duo who should just lock that shit down on the outside for the next decade. But they cannot stay healthy. Abe Lucas missed almost the entirety of last year, and Charles Cross just had fucking surgery. So are they going to be healthy this year? Are they going to play the entire year? If not, this might be a fucking disaster. Now,
yeah, they also redid the wide receiver core. Like, they got rid of DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett's gone. They brought in Cooper Kupp.
Oh, I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
But first, I have to talk offensive coordinators, because the reason that they did that, in theory, and because we don't include video, because Alex enjoys his privacy and I have a career. What the fuck? They are replacing Ryan Grubbs, the guy from Washington, who ran a very vertical, spread out offense, with Clint Kubiak, who was with the Saints, and I was actually fairly impressed. He runs the Kubiak offense, like his dad, which is a really good one of the early versions of the Shanahan, like the first disciple of Mike Shanahan, and a Super Bowl winning coach. The guy who basically hacked the system and was like, oh, if you just do a bootleg every play, they can't stop you. Turns out they figured out how to stop you, but nonetheless, great running scheme, wide zone, lots of play action. Kind of similar to what Sam Darnold did in Minnesota with Cock. Sam Darnold proved to be a pretty decent companion to Cock. Sam Darnold and Cock got along really well. What I don't get is why you built the entire wide receiving core out of guys who can't really move, right? Like, they already had Jake Bobo and Jackson Smith-Njigba. By the way, Jackson Smith-Njigba, he just added in Jigba for fun. It's like his great-grandpa's name or some shit. His name is Jackson Smith. He just wanted to be fun. That's attention-seeking behavior. We will not pick you, Jackson. We will not pick you. Jackson Smith, motherfucker, is very, very similar to Emeka Ibuka, slightly bigger, but they are slot receivers with reliable hands, and they're very smart on the field. It doesn't really change the fact that they're not that useful on the outside, and they're not athletic. They need to be in the slot. Jake Bobo, incredible hands. Very, very smart guy. He ran like a 4.9, and his on-field speed's better, but not a lot better. He's a slow motherfucker. He needs to be in the slot. And then they went and got Cooper Kupp, who needs to be in the slot. And Cooper Kupp in his prime pretty much needed to be in the slot. Cooper Kupp now is a fucking tight end at 6 foot tall. That's bad. So if you build your entire offense out of slot receivers, and there's only one slot at a time, do you see how maybe this isn't going to fucking work, guys? And their solution was, we'll bring in MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, the prototype sacrificial X, who will just run straight 100-yard dashes or 100-meter dashes every play. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is essentially a professional 40-yard dash runner in pads, because he's going to run a streak, maybe a post, but probably just a streak, and you're probably not going to target him. And if you do, it's probably not going to catch it anyway. So I don't know how you utilize your weapons when they all need to be surrounded by things that are not them and they're all the same. It's like if you built your entire basketball team out of Nate Robinsons or Spud Webbs. It's like, yeah, that's a good player, like a really good player, but like he needs a center or a power forward or anything other than 5 Isaiah Thomas or Nate Robinson or Spud Webbs.
Muggsy Bogues.
Whatever, like I hate basketball, but even I know you don't make 5 tiny point guards your roster. So you also shouldn't make 5 slow slot receivers who aren't particularly big your wide receiving core. They do like Torrey Horton. He's a rookie out of Colorado State. He's like 6'2". He's got like good size and he's like pretty fast, but like not, he's like a B+ on speed. And he's just like kind of a B+ across the board, but he also doesn't know how to run a route. So he may become something. Like he's intriguing, but he's your wide receiver 5. So I once again ask, what the fuck do we think we're doing? It's almost like the Seahawks got a GM who didn't watch football last year, but he did win his fantasy league. And he just went out and got the guys that helped him in his fantasy league.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like they have like a concept that I'm at least hoping for their sake is only like half played out. Like, you know, this is year 1 of kind of like this offensive shift going away from more like the north-south game with DK and Geno. But either way, I don't think it bodes super well for this year. Yes, Joe, do you have a question?
I do. That's why I raised my hand. Why the fuck did you pay Sam Darnold like a butt ton of money for the next 3 years if you're just beginning this rebuild process?
I don't know. I'm not going to say it's a well thought out rebuild process.
Apparently, a lot of people believe, and this is including people who are like tied in Seattle, they believe that the answer is Jalen Milroe is the future and they're just grooming him for the next 2 years. Jalen Milroe is 6 foot tall, has like 7.5-inch hands. That's a slight exaggeration. Can't hit the broadside of a barn or really any other building.
But he's strong and fast.
He's not even that strong. He is really fucking fast. And he's got a strong arm. And he has like the funniest cope of all time when he explained lank as let a naysayer know. That shit is hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
But
good locker room guy.
Sure. So was Drew Lock. Remember that one time when he rapped? That was cool. But, or like he did the Buzz Lightyear celebration.
Mm-hmm. That was fun.
So viral. Hasn't really helped him stay on any roster. The featured, the focus point of this offense is going to be Kenneth Walker. And Kenneth Walker is good as fuck. Here's my issue. Kenneth Walker stays hurt. And it's not like, oh, he like stubbed his toe and it's like, no. Kenneth Walker went down in a way that looks like he tore his ACL. He only sprained it, but like, how the fuck did he not tear it? And so he's resilient and he's tough as hell and he's really talented, but he's always fucking hurt. And the backup is Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet is Kyron Williams. We'll get to that later. They are just regular dudes who NFL teams decided to make a wish into being starting running backs. Like, I probably can find you a man at a gym in New York City right now at 8:30 p.m. on a Tuesday who's more athletic than Zach Charbonnet. I think I could do it. Not a former athlete. Just a dude who lifts weights and loves creatine. Dude, I went on vacation last week, so I forgot my creatine and I had to up my dose to like catch back up, and my mouth still tastes like weird powder and I don't like it.
Drink more water.
This is the part where Joe holds up his NFL football-sized glass water bottle because he's weird about his fucking water intake and also cannot fully like grip his water bottle with one hand.
Just looks like one of those old-timey moonshine jugs. Like you need a little hook around the top to put your thumb in and rest it on your arm.
Yeah, that laugh you heard was Alex watching me drink. By the way, not an exaggeration at all. I'm demonstrating as we speak. I can fist this water jug. I can put my whole fucking hand in there. Look at that.
I don't know if you should be telling people that.
Yay for fisting. To the defense? From fisting to D?
To the D.
All right, talking D immediately after fisting. It's going to be good, but it's not going to be great. Like Mike McDonald's a really smart defensive guy, and he's one of these dudes. It's him and Jesse Minter and a little bit Zach Orr, but he does something slightly different. But basically, their philosophy is everybody's getting smaller on the defensive line to create more speed pressure. I'm going the opposite direction. Let's just stack that bitch with big motherfuckers, and you cannot run on our front three. So the Seahawks front three is going to be some combination of Byron Murphy, first round pick from last year, really, really good. Leonard Williams, really, really good. Jerron Reed, still pretty good. Jonathan Hankins has been the prototype stuff the run nose tackle for the last 10 years. I swear to Christ. And then their edges will be DeMarcus Lawrence and Uchenna Nwosu. I think Boye Mafe is basically not going to be an NFL player. He also just doesn't fit at all with what Mike McDonald wants to do. He's a tiny speed rusher with absolutely no power. My comp for him coming out of college was Jamal Adams because he's just fast and small. Like, it's just like, if he gets touched, it's over.
Safety Jamal Adams.
Yes. Well, Jamal Adams should have been a linebacker and Boye Mafe should have too, but Boye Mafe has an excuse. He didn't know how to play football because he's not from here. So he played end because there's no thought involved. Jamal Adams played safety, which is actually more thought intensive because that's all I got. Anyway, DeMarcus, it's the front four to the extent they ever use four defenders is probably going to be DeMarcus Lawrence, Byron Murphy, Jerron Reed, Leonard Williams. So they're going to be heavy. You cannot run on these motherfuckers. It's going to be interesting to see how they use their linebackers, though, because as I mentioned, they have Boye Mafe. He's got the athleticism to be a decent linebacker, especially a run stuffer. They got Uchenna Nwosu, who B-. Ernest Jones, who occasionally is really good, but also seems to have problems in his brain. Not like playing football, like when he's not playing football. He was on 3 teams last year. And then Tyrese Knight, who I cannot pretend I know who the fuck he is.
I'm no help on that one.
Yeah, no, it's a bad linebacking core. And maybe they stand DeMarcus Lawrence up, which I feel like would be a disservice to him. I don't know how they mitigate. I think they might end up using the same, rather than going 3-3-5 and just trying to stuff the run with big bodies, they might go 5-1-5. So fuck it. Use those 3 big defensive tackles and use DeMarcus Lawrence and Uchenna Nwosu and just wreak havoc on the offensive line and pray that your secondary, which is actually pretty good, can come up, tackle, and cover all at the same time. They also might use Nick Imanwori, their second round pick this year, as a linebacker, but I don't think they're that smart. Although they could just slide him down in the box and it's all the same in the end. But
yeah, if you run a 5-1-5,
if you run a 5-1 or like a 4-1-6, the 6th is actually a linebacker.
Exactly.
So bringing us to the secondary, Josh Jobe is decent. He's a B-. Tariq Woolen, Reek.
I think he's just Reek now.
He just goes by Reek, but I can't say that without thinking of Game of Thrones, and that feels really disrespectful to him.
Fair.
I think he has a penis. I can't confirm, but I haven't heard that he doesn't, so I can't call him Reek. But sometimes Woolen is unbelievable. So good. Fast as fuck, super quick, in and out of breaks, 6'4" with the wingspan to match, and wide receiver ball skills. But the reason he's not still a wide receiver like he originally was in college is because the man just has severe ADHD. Sometimes his brain's there, sometimes it's just fucking not close. And when he's off, not off coverage, but when he's not on mentally, he is so bad.
Yeah.
And so they're working with him in sports psychology and coaching and yada yada. But at a certain point, man, you're 25. You're a grown ass man. You got a family or at least something you care about. You are what you are. And then Devin Witherspoon, star, unheralded star, probably the best nickelback in the league when he plays in the slot, and extremely good on the outside as well. He's basically if Denzel Ward didn't have all the concussions and could hit a little harder because he didn't have all the concussions. So he's sick as fuck. That secondary, those corners on a good day are amongst the best, and on a bad day are legitimately bad. And that's kind of scary for betting. As for their safeties, they got Julian Love. He's a smart guy. He's a reliable, strong safety. They got Kobe Bryant, who's a converted corner to free safety. He's rangy. It doesn't really fit necessarily with how the NFL uses free safeties anymore, but I like him, especially in that role. And then again, their third safety is Nicky Manwari, who's just a fucking insane athlete. He's gigantic. He's faster than everybody, almost literally. And he's not totally brain dead. He's actually a decent football player on top of being a freak athlete. So God forbid he puts anything together. God forbid they carve out a really cool hybrid role for him, because he's athletic enough that it might just be smarter to put him on the outside and make him a corner, because then he doesn't have to think or operate in space and he could just be fucking athletic and huge. But it also might be better to put him at linebacker because he's so fucking fast and huge. He could legitimately play any position. Will he be able to play any of them well? We'll see. But to the like this defense is going to be good because they have really great defensive tackles and they have a secondary that's occasionally awesome and occasionally not good at all. But they have a defensive coordinator who will make it work because he's really, really good. I completely lost my train of thought because we had to pause so that I could notice that Jamar Chase just fucking exposed his best friend Joe Burrow. And I got really excited and forgot what I was talking about. So I think we just wrapped up the Seahawks D, which is going to be good. And their offense is going to be like kind of a mess. And that could mean a lot of things, but it probably means about 8 wins. And their total is 8.5. So like the Cardinals, we have to say, yeah, nothing west of like Kansas matters.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good number for him because I think the defense is going to be really good. Like you talked about, Mike McDonald is a really good defensive coordinator. He's had time to kind of mold this defense in his vision. They've got a really good defensive line with some solid pass rush ability around it. And then they've got some stud corners. So they should be able to, keep the games close, but it's a lot of unknowns. Your good tackles on offense are hurt all the time. The rest of the line isn't very good. The quarterback might be completely a scheme merchant who's now in a worse scheme with less talent. So, like, I could also see it kind of completely falling apart for them, but I feel like the defense is going to keep them in enough that, 8 wins.
I mean, like, who are their guaranteed losses? Like the Rams one time, Jacksonville, probably Washington. But other than that, like, they're going to be in every game.
Minnesota.
Definitely Minnesota. But yeah, like New Orleans, Arizona, Todd Bowles could fuck up any game. So 50-50 on everything.
It's just if you're in week 7 and both Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas are done for the year,
then you're dead.
Right. Then like Sam Darnold's going to score more points for the other team.
True.
Than he is for the Seahawks.
And the alternatives are Drew Lock and Jalen Milroe, neither of whom is even remotely competent.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I think they have a pretty wide variance of outcomes.
Yeah, I just don't think the ceiling's very high, and that's why I certainly can't go over 8.5.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that we've covered 2 slightly below average teams. I think that the 2 teams we're about to cover are slightly above average. So where are we going next?
We are going to talk about the Los Angeles Rams with a win total projection of 9.5.
The Rams are tricky because I loved the Rams for a time, and now it's over. But it's not completely over. Let's start off at the beginning. Matt Stafford is still great. Now, he's not Matt Stafford like he was like for a minute there. There was like a month where Matt Stafford was the best quarterback in the NFL because Tom Brady had retired and then unretired. Like Matt Stafford was elite as fuck for a long time. And that time is kind of ending because he's just so old and his back is so fucked that he's probably lost 15 yards of range and 8% of his velocity. Now, because he started off with one of the greatest arms of all time, that's fine. But, it's not the weapon it was. And he can't move. He's a sitting duck in the pocket, and that's led to fumbling issues as well, just because he seems to get hit harder than anybody because he can't mitigate the hit, right? Like, he's a sitting duck. That's tough. He's also not playing at all this preseason, and like not in games. He's not practicing.
Yeah.
That's when you're not practicing and then you open up the season against a Houston team with a fierce defensive line and the Philadelphia Eagles in your first 3 weeks. That's tough. And it's going to put you way behind the 8 ball. Like the Rams are probably a better team than the Texans, but when your quarterback hasn't taken a fucking snap in a year, are you still better? Like he's going to be rusty. Shit's going to be weird.
Yeah. And how long does he even stay healthy after that?
Oh, and that's the thing is like, God forbid you get a couple licks in on him because you are the Houston Texans and you have an embarrassment of riches on the edge. Can he hang? Does he have the will to hang? Like, are we sure Matt Stafford doesn't want to be retired? I don't like it. And then when you're going to add to that an offensive line that struggles with its own injury problems, right? Rob Havenstein and Alaric Jackson are basically always hurt in their own right. And then Kevin Dotson and Steve Avila in the guards are like good, not great. Coleman Shelton is slightly below average. I don't feel good at all.
Yeah, same. This offense scares the shit out of me.
And then to take the pressure off of him, you're going to hand the ball to fucking Kyron Williams, who sucks.
Newly signed.
Yeah.
Newly re-signed, sorry.
Get this fucking shit. I'm going to go on a little rant. I think that Sean McVay is kind of a fucking idiot. And it hurts to say, he's a brother. He's a Red Hawk. But he also has become an idiot. Like somehow winning the Super Bowl turned him into a moron. He has completely stopped innovating. He has completely stopped doing new creative shit. And the same way that he used to take the league by storm, just with motions that people hadn't seen and condensed formations that created several slot receivers on every play, despite the fact that you're really only supposed to have one or two per play. Like, he did cool shit, and it was a huge advantage. And basically, as soon as he got rid of his shit quarterback that was holding back his offense, he stopped doing cool shit and just got super complacent with his stud quarterback who could just make things work. I hate that so much. And maybe it's a Sean McVay thing. Maybe he got bored when he got a ring. Maybe he married his super hot wife and all he wants to do is roll around in the sheets with her. Maybe he got a really good quarterback and he took his, foot off the gas and said, fuck it, Stafford's got it handled. Whereas with Jared Goff, he was so paranoid that Goff couldn't handle anything that he created simple answers for him all the time, right? Like, maybe he's too complacent because he delegates too hard. I don't know what it is, but it's not the same as it was. And then his dumb ass, they drafted Kyren Williams in the 5th round. Fine. That's fine value. Whatever. He's like a good backup running back. And then they draft Blake Corum last year in the 3rd round, high in the 3rd round, almost in the 2nd round. This is a dude who's super athletic, or at least supposed to be, super productive at Michigan. A lot of people thought he was going to be a late 1st, early 2nd before he got hurt. Well, he's healthy, and they don't fucking use him because they use Kyren Williams, despite the fact that Kyren Williams is small and has ball security issues and isn't very good out of the backfield because he's kind of smart and reliable in pass pro. That's backwards and dumb. And a lot of people were saying like, oh, well, they didn't waste that high draft pick on Blake Corum. You remember, this is a team that has no draft picks ever. So like a 3rd round pick is basically a 1st round pick to the Rams. They didn't waste that pick. No. They're going to use Blake Corum this year. They're just trying to get the tread off Kyren Williams' tires. So in 2025, it'll be Blake Corum's show, and by 2026, Kyren Williams will be gone. Wrong. They just gave Kyren Williams the fucking bag. Made him like a top 8 paid running back in the league. Why? I don't know. I can't answer it. Sean McVay keeps doing dumber and dumber shit. I think he's been in Hollywood too long, and as a survivor of Los Angeles, I know for a fact it makes you dumb and lazy. Maybe that's happening to our boy Sean. Maybe he needs to go back to Ohio and become a real human again. I don't know. That's not the compliment you think it is, Alex. LA makes you dumb and lazy because it's so goddamn lovely outside and you don't want to do anything but just hang out at the beach and play roller hockey.
This is why I'm saying tall you would be complacent.
I'm not going to say my dad's name because I'd have to bleep it, and I hate post-production because I'm lazy, but you have met him. You know that is not true.
I know.
This man has been terrorizing the South Side for the better part of a century. That's almost true. Fuck, I'm getting old. Hopefully the reason that the Rams don't care that they're making bad decisions at running back, this isn't logic, but I guess it could work. Hopefully the reason they don't care that they're just doing dumb shit at running back and not getting real players, because maybe Blake Corum sucks. Maybe the injury broke him. Maybe he's a dumbass. Okay, then get a new running back, because Kyren Williams is not the answer under any circumstance. He's just a guy. Again, I bet you within 4 blocks of my office, within 4 blocks of Times Square, I can find a dude at a gym who's never played a sport outside of high school who is more athletic than Kyren Williams and above 5'9". I bet I could do it right now. 9:00, Tuesday, summer. I could do it. So maybe the reason they don't mind having a shit running back and they can excuse paying him, I guess, is because they think they've fixed their offense by just loading up at wide receiver. But even that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Would you like to hear why?
Absolutely. Hit me.
Because Puka Nacua is great. He's an A- X receiver. He plays so much bigger than 6'1". It's crazy. Him and Jamar Chase, they both should be 6'3", but they're not. Puka is just so goddamn strong and smart and has such goddamn good hands. And Jamar Chase is the exact same thing, but with killer speed, which is terrifying. And why teams game plan for him instead of Joe Burrow. Get fucked. Puka Nacua's weakness is that he's not that tall, and he's certainly not fast. So to pair with him, they went and got Davante Adams, who's also 6'1", also not very fast, and aging, and his hands are actually kind of slipping a little bit. And he really only works as an X or a slot, and they paid him a ton of money. So now you're creating an offense with a slow running back, a slow quarterback who can't move, 2 slow wide receivers starting on the outside, and a kind of shitty offensive line. Not shitty, but iffy at best, and injury prone. And I really love Jordan Whittington, who I hope becomes their slot receiver this year. But he's not very fast either. He's a power slot. He's 6 foot, built like a fire truck, breaking tackles, running like a running back. Frankly, Jordan Whittington should be this team's starting running back. I'm not even joking a little bit. And their answer for speed is that they just paid Tutu Atwell $10 million a year, which isn't that much, but it's too much to pay a guy you're not going to use. But he's 5'6", and all he can really do is run deep outs and streaks. So, like, I ask again, what are we fucking doing? I don't see any speed on this entire offensive roster. I don't really get how Nacua and Adams are going to work together, especially out of Sean McVay's bunch-heavy offenses, right? Because, like, those are both dudes who want to work on the outside, set corners up, use their route running and savvy, and in Nakua's case, strength, to isolate one-on-one and win a matchup one-on-one. But you can't do that out of bunch because you're in a crowd. So what the fuck are we gonna do? Now, either Sean McVay has totally reinvented his offense, again, in a way he hasn't done for about 3-4 years, or the Rams are cooked. And seeing as Matt Stafford hasn't fucking played all summer and doesn't intend to, if the offense is totally reinvented, which would be the good thing, Matt Stafford's gonna be rusty as fuck and take time to catch up. And he hasn't gotten any reps. And if it's not different, it doesn't make sense. So while I've been high on the Rams since they got Matt Stafford, like every year, and while they were my Super Bowl pick the year they won the Super Bowl, thank you God, because Joe Burrow with a Super Bowl ring would actually nauseate me. The hype would be out of control.
Yeah.
The Joe Burrow hype is out of control when he got replaced by his backup and outproduced and also then missed the fucking playoffs. Somehow his legend only grew while failing very objectively. I digress. Deep breaths. I must find serenity. I can control what I can control. I cannot focus on other things. This is why we save the Wests for last, because I fucking hate them. And then there's like the Chiefs who just do everything pretty much right and there's nothing to talk about. This Rams offense makes no fucking sense to me. And despite the fact that they have probably a top 5-ish quarterback, certainly top 10. And despite the fact that they have pretty damn good receivers in a vacuum and a decent offensive line in a vacuum, all the context and nuance tells me they're so much worse than they should be. But they're going to beat the Titans and the Colts and the Panthers, and they're probably going to beat the Cardinals twice, and they're probably going to beat the Falcons, and they're probably going to beat the Saints. And suddenly you look up and they've got like 9-10 wins. And there's just not a lot of there's like almost no guaranteed losses. Like they're going to lose to Baltimore, probably. But if Matt Stafford has a crazy game, maybe they don't. It's going to take significant injuries for this team to go under, and you can't bet on injuries.
I mean, I feel like with Stafford at this point, you kind of can. And that's my biggest concern with them. Like, if he plays the majority of the games, then I think this number is good. It could even go over.
Yeah.
But, man, he might play like 5 games all year. And then it's Jimmy Garoppolo.
The problem with trying to handicap injuries like that, though, is that I've thought Matt Stafford was done and injured for the last 4 years.
Yeah, but I mean, how many games did he play last year?
I think he played almost all of them.
How many was he actually like healthy for, though?
Well, that's a very different question that I actually cannot answer.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I mean, he played in goddamn near every game. They made the playoffs. I think they won the division. And fuck, I mean, if he gets hurt, they'll probably just go get Baker Mayfield off the fucking street again.
Trade for him.
No, watch what's going to happen. Watch what's going to happen. Only bad things happen, never good things. So Matt Stafford's going to get hurt like week 3 or 4, and Jimmy Garoppolo is going to come in and he's going to suck for like 2 games. And then McVay is going to be like, oh shit, I have to do that thing again where I do my job. And suddenly he's going to reinvent his offense. It's going to be fucking brilliant. They're going to make the playoffs and everybody's going to be like, Jimmy G resurgence. Was he actually always good? No, he fucking wasn't. So that's how the bad thing happens. And then I have to go fucking drunkenly argue with his godfather when I go home next summer and say, he's fucking not good. I know he's a good guy. He fucking sucks, dude. I'm sorry. I love you. He's fucked. Shut up. He's like, oh, fucking, I don't see your Super Bowl ring. Fuck you, Roy.
How's the defense looking?
The Rams defense is kind of just a way better version of what the Rams defense always is. So the Rams defense since McVay got there has basically just been, fuck it, he's not really good, but he's smart. Because like the way that the Rams have hacked the draft and gotten all these good players late is that basically after the third round, they're like, yeah, we don't actually care if he's talented. Just like, is he smart? Can he like comprehend what we're trying to do here? And if they can, they'll be fine enough. So the exception is obviously, and the reason that they're so much better than usual, like the upgraded version is, I love this defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Braden Fisk, who's like a big athletic, like 2 technique, I call it, because he can play 3, he can play 1. He's not incredible at either, but he's really good at doing both. Braden Fisk's really good. More of a power rusher with good speed. You put him next to Byron Young, who's a really good speed rusher, but kind of undersized. And that's a nice combo. You go Kobe Turner, who's a little undersized, but really quick at the 3 technique. And you put him next to Jared Verse, who's just a fucking monster. He's just 6'5", of metal-bound muscle. And he's just going to bull rush and long arm you all damn day. You put that power next to that quickness, that's a really nice combo. By the way, they have Poona Ford to plug in whenever they need to stop the run. And Poona Ford, one of the best names of all time. Also, the heir apparent to Jonathan Hankins in that he just stops that fucking run.
Yeah, and like he just moves around a lot despite always being good, but like just still not that valued.
Exactly like Jonathan Hankins.
Mm-hmm.
To quote Scarface, I like you, Poona Ford. There's no lying in you. All you do is stop the run and eat food, and you don't care about the rest, and nor do we, because we know what we got. He's your trad wife. He's not that hot, but he's going to be at home taking care of the kids and cooking some mac and cheese. You come home and you'll be like, fuck, she's not that hot. But then you'll sit down, have a beer and eat your mac and cheese, and you're like, yeah, but I'm allowed to gain some weight, and my kids are really smart, so you don't care. Moving to the middle 2, I guess, because we've covered the defensive line, which again, sick. It's not like elite, but it's really good. And Jared Verse has the potential to ascend to that elite spot if he could develop some pass rush moves, but fuck, the guy's 25. He's not gonna. Linebackers, Nate Landman and Omar Spates. These are what we call in the business backup linebackers. In LA for the Rams, they call them, I guess you're fucking starting, dude, get out there. They are backed up by Troy Reeder and Chris Paul, who similarly are backup fucking linebackers. And at some point this year, I am certain that the Rams will tap him on the shoulder and say, I don't know, fuck it, get out there. Troy Reeder, kind of smart. Chris Paul, dumb as rocks, but very fast. He just runs around and tries to hit shit, and sometimes he does it. Omar Spates and Nate Landman, I don't fucking know. I don't know their games. I don't know why I would. The only reason I know Troy Reeder is because they've been trying to make this fucking experiment work for 6 years, and it doesn't. Speaking of experiments that don't work and people keep on trying to make them work, but they just don't fucking work, Darius Williams is back in LA playing outside corner. Why? I don't know. Because chaos. Here are some ideas that are pretty similar in caliber and logic. We're going to start 5'8" Darius Williams on the outside at 30 years old. We're going to boof Tussie. Do you know those slangs?
I think I can put it together.
A boof is where you put a thing in your butt. And a Tussie is pink cocaine, made famous by Stephon Diggs and boof extraordinaire Cardi B.
Okay, I would not have actually been able to put that together, so thank you for the lesson.
I have learned from sources that would shock you that when people get significant nose jobs, such as Cardi B, they can no longer do the drugs nasally, and they must boof them. And it's a drawn-out process that's hilarious. And also, dude, do you know how cool that would be if you got to, like, boof Mariah Carey back in the day? Just... Anyhow, that's a hint as to how I know it. Alex has muted himself to laugh and move. The rest of the secondary is similarly like frustrating, right? Because Akello Witherspoon, he's an experiment that people have been trying to make work for years, and he's kind of okay at corner. But when he's your best corner, you have bad corners. Quentin Lake, he's a slot corner, and he can kind of hit, but he's not good. Emmanuel Forbes, he was never a good idea. Who said we should use Emmanuel Forbes? Probably the same guy who said that you should boof Tussie. Get that guy out of your party. Drafting Emmanuel Forbes a pick before Christian Gonzalez, slept on way worse than drafting Jalen Reagor a pick or 2 before Justin Jefferson. Because like Jefferson's a top 5 receiver, maybe number 1. Christian Gonzalez is at worst the 3rd best cornerback in the league. And we all knew it at the time. At least Jefferson kind of surprised us. At least Reagor looked to be good. Everybody and their mama knew that Emmanuel Forbes is 130 pounds, couldn't run that well, and just got a bunch of picks off of random bullshit. If you watched him play at Mississippi State like 2 times, you were like, he's not actually good. And then Darian Kendrick was awesome at Georgia because he's really smart and he's got good size and really good ball skills, but he isn't athletic enough. And so again, the whole Rams secondary is built out of, I know he's smart, but I just don't think he can do this thing. Kind of like Kyler Murray's talented, but can't physically play quarterback in this league. And then their safeties, they're spending good money to employ Cam Curl and Cam Kitchens, who are the same guy, and they're both linebackers. They're smart. They hit good. They can't cover. They can't chase a dude in space. They're fucked if they get one-on-one with any skill player, really. So how does it work? I don't know. I think that if you can block this offensive line, or this defensive line, rather, if you can block it up, you're going to gash them.
Absolutely. I mean, I think they should get a little bit of credit because they've run out kind of bad linebacker and secondary crews for like 5 years, and they still have decent defenses because they do a really good job of kind of like mitigating them and then using their good defensive line. But man, this is a bad group of talent beyond their, front five.
Well, dude, like literally, they have 5 defensive linemen who they do get me really excited. I love them. And after that, I mean, it's bad.
It is. It's bad.
So you compare a defense. You've got a defense that really can only play at the line. If you can block them at all, if you have a decent offensive line, you need better than decent. If you have a good defensive or offensive line, you will gash this team. And if you have any pass rush, you will destroy Matt Stafford's spine. So how do they win? Again, the talent is too immense. The coaching is still decent. They're going to win 9 games, and the line is 9.5. So we can't go under. But the injury risk, the many holes, the weird, the holes are all in the same fucking spots, man. Like, if you have corners that aren't dumb, you can cover these receivers. If you have any pass rush, you beat this offense. If you have any offensive line, you give this defense fits. Like, you just need one thing to break them every time. And they're going to start off the season. 2 of their first 3 games are against really good defensive lines.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
And Houston and Tennessee, jury's out on their offensive lines. Probably suck. But after that, you're not facing a bad offensive line until week 11. So they're going to face a lot of good offensive lines that are going to block up their pass rush and get after them on offense. And they're facing a lot of really good defensive lines. And I don't know how this works. But it probably will, because great quarterbacks with decent coaches don't suck. And I can't bet on injuries because I just am not that kind of doctor.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll still be able to manufacture, because even if McVay isn't what we, know him to be or knew him to be, he's still a solid offensive coordinator with a very talented quarterback and some talented options throughout the offense. They shoot themselves in the foot a lot, but they still have the talent and ability to do it. So yeah, I don't really want to go under it, though I don't think there's any way Matt Stafford plays more than 12 games, or maybe is effective.
And even if you're dead wrong and Matt Stafford's healthy for 18 weeks and, come February he's doing jumping jacks with weights hanging from his shoulders, it still doesn't mean that they're going to be a 12-win team.
Yeah.
I think if they stay healthy and everything goes right, they're an 11-win team, which gives me a game and a half a cushion. I still can't bet it, even before considering the legitimate injury risks and the not playing all fucking summer risk. Yeah.
Well, let's wrap this up. Get to our last team.
As if I wasn't angry enough.
We have the San Francisco 49ers with a win total projection of 10.5.
I fucking hate San Francisco. So naturally,
it's gotten so much better.
It has, and it still sucks. It's 55 every day. It's always great. The beaches are cold. Like in San Francisco, they're just like, oh, let's go to the beach, grab a hoodie and boots. Fuck you. That's wrong. What's next? We're going to eat some ice cream in fucking Minnesota in December? Yeah, we probably will. But we'll do it indoors. Like civil people. I fucking hate it. It's impossible to find a meal there that has meat in it. And that's not even oh, they're all vegans, but it's just there's an abundance of bakeries. So you go there and you get fat because if you want to eat food, there's only bakeries and really good, but Asian food that is always baked. So then you just eat 1 billion carbs a day by necessity. And then you look up and you're like, fuck, I've become a doughy hippie. I hate it. I hate it. I had a wonderful time there last weekend. I hate it. The 49ers have quietly kind of fallen apart and nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
So they just paid Brock Purdy's ass. And the only thing worse than having a game manager as your quarterback is paying him to be a superstar while he is a game manager. Motherfucker's making 56 mil or something like that to be Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know what else needs to be said. Brock Purdy, even if you like Brock Purdy, he's not carrying you. He's not elevating you. At best, he is just maintaining. Then we move to the offensive line. We're not going to talk about the receivers because frankly, I don't even know who the fuck they are right now because everybody's hurt. offensive line, Trent Williams is 37. I think he turns 38 this year. And he's one of the best of all time, and he should walk into the Hall of Fame the second that he puts his cleats down. But it doesn't change the fact that time comes for us all. We know for a fact he won't be a superstar, all-pro, all-world left tackle when he's 45. He may be at 37, but that means that we've got like a 5-year window here. And at one of those years, he's going to hit the cliff or just get hurt and walk away.
Yeah.
And everybody else in San Francisco seems to be getting hurt. And it's not just because of the rampant hoboism. Hey, Colton McKivitz at right tackle is not good. Dominic Pooney is decent as a right guard. B. Ben Barch and Jake Brendel are below average on the interior. And Matt Hennessy might end up starting, which is also bad and possibly worse. So really, the 49ers kind of rely on Trent Williams being such a monster on the left that he takes care of half the offensive line. And then they hope that Dominic Pooney can be really good on the right and kind of help Colton McKivitz along, but he's not. And that's also not how offensive line works. It does work that way in run blocking, but in pass pro, it's not going to work. So they need lots of play action. Now, apparently Christian McCaffrey's healthy. We'll fucking see.
Yeah. For how long?
Yeah. Like people don't just recover from like career threatening knee injuries when they're 30, especially running backs, especially skinny running backs. Because I mean, I love Christian McCaffrey. He's great, whatever. He's not a big guy. I don't know. It sounds bad. I mean,
he's a big dude, but like as far as
for a running back,
yeah, world class running backs, I'd say he's a little on the slimmer side.
Yeah, he's not like thickly built, right? Like most running backs are very wide and very meaty, and he's not that because that's not his game, right? He was quick. He was honestly probably a better wide receiver than running back coming out in the draft. Like he's got that different. I mean, his dad was a fucking wide receiver. He's got a different kind of build than most running backs you see. Regardless, their wide receivers, if healthy, are pretty good. Ricky Pearsall is a really good player. Brandon Ayuk is a really good player, and he's proven it. Ricky Pearsall's a projection, but like I'm very confident that he'll be a good fucking player. Jawan Jennings is a really good third option, like a really, really good third option and a great slot. I think that there's something to Jacob Cowing. Demarcus Robinson won't go away. He seems to be wide receiver 3 for every team in the league. But Brandon Ayuk hasn't really played in like 2 years. And Ricky Pearsall keeps getting shot, tweaking, hamstrings and such. It's like shit always goes wrong for him. I think he's cursed. He finally gets healthy in college and like breaks onto the scene, and then his quarterback's Anthony Richardson, so he just can't do his job because Anthony Richardson is inept. And then Jawan Jennings just got hurt for the second time already this offseason. So it's totally possible that the 49ers could start the season without their top 3 wide receivers. I don't know how you fucking come back from that. Now, Kyle Shanahan's brilliant. Kyle Shanahan will always figure something out, but it really, really helps to have multiple options. And if Christian McCaffrey is 10% worse than he was because, blood stopped flowing to his knees for about a year, literally, and all of his wide receivers are dead or otherwise injured, it turns into, we have to find a way to get this ball to George Kittle with our weak-armed quarterback who's not very athletic or big and our offensive line that can't really protect him.
Exactly. Like they've just kind of like slowly fallen apart and lost guys to either, free agency, trade, injury, that they just don't have many weapons anymore.
Well, and the thing is, if Ayuk and Pearsall and Jennings were all healthy and I could trust it, that's pretty good.
Right.
Arguably, it's better than when they had Debo. But
because Shanahan can mitigate some of those offensive line problems too.
Certainly.
With the way he moves everything and the play action and motion and everything, he can create easier plays that gives the offensive line a break. But he's kind of got to have some weapons. Like he needs one or the other.
Well, the curse of Kyle Shanahan is he needs something, right? I'm absolutely positive. I believe this with my whole heart. If you give Kyle Shanahan a really good offensive line and below average everything else, he will give you a good offense. If you give him a really good quarterback and below average everything else, he will give you a really good offense. If you give him great wide receivers and below average everything else, he will give you a good offense. If you give him a great running back and below average everything else, he will give you a pretty good offense. Running backs are less valuable. Sorry. This team has a below average quarterback. It has a running back who may be great, but may also actually retire. Like if you told me that Christian McCaffrey just couldn't fucking do it anymore and retired next week, I would not be shocked at all.
Yeah.
He's got one tight end who's really good, but aging, but really good. And then 3 wide receivers who should be really good, but can't be on the field. If the weaponry all stay healthy and Christian McCaffrey is somewhat similar to what we last saw from him, yeah, this team's really good. And they'll score a ton of points again like they always do. But if not, if any of those pieces falls apart, it won't get ugly, but it won't be what we're used to. And the defense, we're used to the 49ers just having a stacked defensive roster because what Kyle Shanahan has done in the past, and this is smart, is he's just invested tons of picks and money in building an awesome defensive roster because you can't scheme defense. You got to have the guys. And then he makes it work on offense with late picks, scrap heap guys, Brock Purdy. They paid Brock Purdy. They paid a bunch of their receivers and their running back. Now their defense is starting to feel the pain because what used to be arguably the best defensive line in football is now Nick Bosa, who's, remember when people thought Nick Bosa was the best defensive lineman in the NFL?
Yeah, that was...
This shit was dumb and racist. It was, honestly, what it is he was a big name at OSU. They won a ton of games, big school, big lights. Everybody knew him, high draft pick, and a white guy, and really productive on a super good winning team. Perfect hype storm. But really, he's a B plus A minus guy. He's an A minus guy. He's not a B plus. That's insulting. I'm sorry. When you get past Nick Bosa, you quickly run out of guys I want starting for my football team. He's got Jordan. All I know how to do is a swim move. Elliott, who's not a starter. He's a okay backup. He had his best year last year, and he wasn't a starter or wasn't starting caliber. He's got Kevin Givens. I don't know who that is. That's bad. He's been in the league for 6 years. If I don't know you after you've been in the league for 6 years, you shouldn't be in the league much longer. I hope that Alfred Collins steals that starting defensive tackle spot. I like Alfred Collins. I think he's good. He's a nice, powerful rusher. We'll see. And then Michael Williams, first round pick at defensive end. He's bad at football. He's another Leonard Floyd. They're just churning him out lately. Dudes who are tall and kind of fast, but bad at rushing the passer or stopping the run. He's pretty decent at stopping the run, but he was a linebacker who they used weirdly at Georgia, and his testing numbers aren't great, so he's not an awesome athlete, and his production wasn't good, but Georgia. And also, if you watch his film, he wasn't a true end, and I think there's a reason for that, but I digress. Verdict, defensive line, mid at best. And if anything happens to Nick Bosa, and things tend to happen to these Bosa boys, bad as fuck.
Yep.
If anything happens to Nick Bosa, awful defensive line. Moving back to the linebackers, look, Fred Warner is still the gold standard. Probably the best in the league, although Peyton Wilson's coming for that ass. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not a lot. They used to have Fred Warner with Dre Greenlaw. Oh, he's fucking good. Or Aziz Al-Shaair. Oh, he's fucking explosive. He hits like a motherfucker. Now they got him with D. Winters. Do you know D. Winters?
I do not.
Of course you know D. Winters. You've met a Jamaican guy during winter. I don't know D. Winters from Adam. That's bad. Probably sucks. Maybe he's good and they have a sleeping giant. I don't know, but probably bad. Speaking of probably bad, remember when the 49ers had Charvarius Ward and Darnell Mooney? Or not Darnell Mooney, Mooney Ward?
Yeah.
God damn it. Charvarius was the 49ers. I'm getting confused with Algerius Sneed was the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. The crazy names of the dudes who were really good corners on really good teams. That's now Diamador Lenore just keeps on failing upwards into starting roles. He went from being their, oh no, slot corner to their number one corner. And then on the other side, they have Renardo Green, who frankly, I haven't scouted much. He was a second round pick last year, but I just never really got around to him. We'll see. If you're banking on Renardo Green, a second round pick to be your best corner, to quote Nelson Mandela, fuck, dude. Their slot corner is going to be Upton Stout. Fine. He's not a coverage guy. He's a safety. Not he should be a safety. He's not very fast. He's not very big. I don't want him being a true corner, but fine. And then you've even lost your fucking safeties, dude. Now you're starting Jason Pinnock, B-, and Richie Grant, C+. It's so much attrition. So in sum, we've got a defensive line that is one injury away from being downright awful. We've got linebackers that are thin, and we've got a secondary that doesn't have a single good player, but maybe has 3 okay ones, but probably doesn't even.
Yeah.
And by the way, Bob Salah is the defensive coordinator again, so they're going to run cover 3 and cover 4 every play. So what's coming. And without a pass rush, that doesn't work, as we saw in New York.
Exactly. It's Nick Bosa and and a bunch of guys that should be backups.
It's Nick Bosa wins the rep or another first down.
Mm-hmm. And then praying that Fred Warner can clean up when it inevitably doesn't work.
Well, he's a linebacker. If Fred Warner makes the tackle every play, they're probably averaging 5 yards a carry. That's just it. If Fred Warner,
he can keep it at 5 yards a carry instead of 9.
If Fred Warner plays awesome, consistent football and never misses a tackle, you're looking at 4.3 yards per carry, and the tight end gets no catches, but the wide receivers eat.
Yeah.
So you got an offense that is teetering on the brink of being average, and you've got a defense that would love to just be average. This could get ugly. I don't think it does. I think that they're still going to be like a 9-10 win team. And I can't bet against Kyle Shanahan to win 10 fucking games.
Yep. I mean, that's the problem we run into of I'm never going to bet against Kyle Shanahan going under 500. And like, yeah, they have injury concerns. The team is getting older and more hurt, and they're losing guys to free agency and whatnot, but they still have a good group of offensive weapons.
Assuming they can play.
Right.
But that's the thing. If they can play, 11 win team. Easy. Totally. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in today's NFL, because like that defense scares me. Like they're not going to give up a million points just because they're a cover 3 with Salah coming back, who's familiar there. He can kind of, do that same thing of bring everyone up that's not very good, just you have a low ceiling.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, yeah, like they're better because I think they've got the best coach in the group or in the division.
By a landslide.
They've still got a lot of weapons.
If they play.
Sure. And I don't know. It's kind of just counting on Shanahan, I guess.
It's a dog shit handicap, but really fucking good coach, weak division, easy schedule. It can't be that bad. So like, if we look at their schedule, stop me when you hear a game that they're definitely going to lose. Seattle, New Orleans, Cardinals, Jaguars, Rams, Buccaneers. I would say Buccaneers, but Todd Bowles can lose any game.
Exactly. You can't, when you have the coaching chasm between Todd Bowles and Kyle Shanahan, you can't look at the talent.
Falcons, Texans, Giants, Rams, Cardinals, Panthers, Browns, Tennessee off a bye, Colts, Chicago, Seattle. They play almost every terrible team in the league, and they play zero of the elite teams.
They don't play any good teams.
They don't play a single good fucking team. So I have them listed right now at 10.75 wins.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like obviously, I think some of that is actually, I don't even know if they need some of those receivers to come back to beat all those teams.
They could beat the Giants, Browns, Panthers, Titans, Colts,
Cardinals.
Don't even put them in there. Just list the really fucking easy ones. The Saints, if Shuck's not starting, like that's 6 wins right there that they could have with one of their starting receivers playing out of 3. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's Kyle fucking Shanahan. And if you give them a 6-game head start, they can win 4 or 5 more games. Certainly. Division games are tough. The division is kind of weak. It's a good number, and it's a shitty division full of bullshit I don't like. And frankly, this season is not the most juicy. Like, there's not a lot of teams that are super impressive.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of teams that are hovering around average.
I mean, like, we know Buffalo will be great. We know Kansas City will be great. We know Baltimore will be great. The only teams that like might surprise us and be impressive are Jacksonville, Tampa, fucking, I guess people don't understand that Minnesota will be great, but they will. Philly and Detroit will probably both take small steps back and still be good, but not great. The Bears, I thought they could be great. Caleb Williams just keeps chugging in training camp. And I don't mean chugging along. I mean chugging things that are nasty. Toes. He's chugging toes. No, he's chugging dick. Like the Saints could blow some people away and be fun, but like it looks like Shuck might not start week 1, and I don't think they can be great because I just don't think they have the coach. Yeah.
I mean, New England with Drake May and an improved roster, but still not there as far as the roster goes, and you have Vrabel.
Yeah, like New England's roster that is so much improved still has below average wide receivers, an average at the very best offensive line, and a defense that's made out of only the secondary. So yeah it's going to be a not super exciting year of the NFL. It's going to be a lot of the shit we saw last year, which is still fucking great because it's football.
Yeah. I mean, I think the fun of it is there's a lot of unpredictability and like chaos that happens of, like if you go back to, some of that quarterback golden age when you had Breeze and Brady and Peyton and Rodgers and Roethlisberger and a bunch of those guys that were just like absolute studs where unless they were playing each other, it was like, yeah, they're probably going to win that game.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I mean, a lot of these teams just have some mid quarterback or a reshuffled guy or a flyer that they're hoping for. So there's a lot more like
Parity.
Yeah, and which leads to more like excitement when watching.
Sure.
Maybe not excitement, but like, new things happening that you're not expecting.
You're always in it.
Right.
Yeah,
Might not be as good of football,
Yeah.
but crazy stuff happens.
There's a lot of parity in the middle this year. That kind of concludes our preseason breakdowns, our win total projection or whatever you call them analyses. And I don't think we have any picks for the Wests. I'm pretty sure we didn't have one last week. I don't think.
No, we did not.
I don't see one this week. I mean, like the season win totals are pretty sharp this year. And it's largely because there's just not a lot of teams that are going to suck terrible penis. And the ones that are going to suck terrible penis, like we kind of been ridiculing them for years already. So It's not fun.
I think wrapping up the entire offseason review and the bets that we made was I think we had Jacksonville over 7.5. We had New Orleans over 4.5. And then we had Minnesota over 8.5. I think they were all 2 units as well.
They definitely were. And let me check real quick because I think I might have a few more.
Because we leaned a lot in the East, but I don't think we picked anything there.
Yeah, Jacksonville, New Orleans, Minnesota overs. And then, hey, here's a fun one. Toss 2 units on Tampa Bay to win the NFC South at even odds.
Is this an official pod pick or just one that you like?
Fuck it. Pod pick. By the way, those are all on the Patreon for Patreon subscribers. I'm going to stop just giving out all the Patreon picks when we get to the regular season. But fuck it. If you made it to the very final 5 minutes of our 6-episode offseason preview that nobody listens to, I'll throw you a bone.
Absolutely. All right. So we had Tampa Bay winning the South 2 units and those even odds?
Yeah.
Cool. I just want to lock that one in. Ooh, I'm excited to talk about real football soon.
Yeah, but we've kind of fucked ourselves because now what are we gonna pod next week? Probably not. What is there to talk about? Preseason? I guess we'll pod if cool shit happens and we want to talk about it, but probably not.
Yeah. But even then, most of the preseason games are useless.
There's nothing to gain.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Unless somebody gets hurt, there's really nothing to gain. Speaking of preseason, my preseason bets this week are Giants over Buffalo money line. Buffalo's not going to play any starters. They want to win football games in the season. The Giants have to play starters or at least close to it because they got backup quarterbacks to figure out, dude. And a young rookie quarterback who they want to get reps and a young backup running back who's fun. So the Giants are going to be actually trying and rolling out real players. The Bills are going to have Mitch Trubisky. Who do you want? And then I love New Orleans over the Chargers. The Chargers already won a preseason game. They don't care. They don't need to see one go through. They already did. And the Saints are going to be having a quarterback competition between Hainer, Rattler, and Shuck. I don't know why I just started calling him Shug tonight. But yeah, all 3 of those dudes are at the very least competent, and I even think 2 of them are pretty good. They got a deep running back stable, and yeah, quarterback competition. They need to actually try some shit and figure out who's good at what. Whereas the Chargers don't care and are not playing Justin Herbert. Giants are plus 125. Saints are minus 130. And if you can still get it, go get the Panthers over the Browns because the Browns are starting Shadur Sanders for almost the entire game out of necessity due to 3 dudes being hurt or 40. Granted, I think that line was moving really fast. So it might already be down to minus 200. Ooh, another fun one. Toss Eagles for a unit, money line over the Bengals. The Eagles are plus 205. They only have so many backup quarterbacks. They're going to have to play Tanner McKee. They're going to have to play their really, really good young backup running backs. They have 2 offensive lines worth starting. Whereas, the Bengals have Jake Browning, and he's pretty decent, but they don't have nearly the depth. So you're getting plus 200? Fuck yeah. Buy yourself something pretty. I don't know. That's probably all I got for preseason shit. Let me check real quick. Did I toss Minnesota over Houston in there?
You didn't, but now you did.
I did. JJ McCarthy's going to play a little bit extended too. Jordan Addison will get some run because he's got a month to get healthy afterwards. And Sam Howell, goddamn it, if you don't play well in this game, your career's over.
Yeah.
You're playing backups. You're in a Minnesota offense. Apparently his camp hasn't been very good, which is really depressing. And he doesn't look like the same guy anymore. Sam Howell, here's your chance to let me down one last fucking time. Yeah, those are all my preseason picks. We're not going to keep track of them. They're free on the Patreon if you want them. Fuck it. We'll probably find something to talk about next week, but we probably actually won't. And I might not even break down that much film because it's the preseason and it's summer and I got shit to do.
Exactly. So it might be a little bit, but we'll be back in worst case, we'll be back in a month.
Yeah. And in the meantime, try to get to a beach where it's not fucking cold. Till then, I'll be at a beach where it's not fucking cold. Hopefully. Does New York have beaches?
Absolutely. I don't know if they have many near where you are, but they have beaches.
There's got to be a beach in Midtown Manhattan, right? Until then, I have a brief to draft. Asta.